Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
It will forever be Harrison Ford.
I'm sorry, Harrison Ford?
Specifically Han Solo Harrison Ford, but who's getting picky?
Wow, okay, weird. This was not what I was expecting.
What?
In this episode, apparently this studio space needs a better mirror, but as always, let's make it custom, let's make it pretty, and let's make it magical. Editor, roll the tape. And let's get rid of this mirror. It's freaking broken.
Rude. Boop.
This video is sponsored by AG1. DIY friends, welcome back to my channel. We are gonna shake things up this week and have a little fun with a creative beast project. Building a mirror for this studio has been something I've wanted to do since I've started working on this studio space. And I do need something up here. The one I had was kind of crummy, so we're throwing that out. We're bringing a new idea in. I wanted this mirror to celebrate a few different styles that I love. Fantasy, a little whimsy gothic, maybe a touch of witchcore, throw in a dash of castlecore, because apparently that's a thing now. We're allowed to stick anything in front of core nowadays, and it just becomes a thing. We got like clutter core, there's angel core, there's circus core, clown core, goblin core, gorp core, fairy core. You get the idea. So in spirit of this design anarchy, we shall call this Danicore, a mix of color and whimsical shapes that touches on themes of fantasy, gothic, and all things magical. Haha, huzzah! So I had a couple ideas in mind. My first idea played with a similar silhouette to my gothic bookshelves in my old office. It had a more of a tapered top, some playful gothic design features on the inside, and then I thought we could play with some unique trim on the side, and then what would make this truly stand out was my wish to incorporate some stained glass elements. I kind of saw 3 windows at the top and maybe something incorporated into the mirror, either in the corners or at the bottom. Color-wise, a little unclear. I've been playing with some purples, I've been playing with some reds. I'm not quite sure yet. After brainstorming, I did end up kind of softening out the lines. I didn't add a tapered on the top. I decided to just go for an arch. I really didn't know what I wanted to do for these stained glass elements, but I felt like I had enough direction to create the body of the mirror. So I figured we got enough, so let's get building. Now, I would like to say that I walked into day 1 of this creation fully prepared, sizing and all, but I didn't. I'm such a visual person, so sometimes I find it easier to kind of work it out in the moment. I had purchased my mirror ahead of time, so I was just kind of figuring out the sizing with the mirror that I had. Certain things I have worked out, but what I didn't know until I could like really map it out visually is how much space I was going to have from the top of the mirror to the top of the actual like decorative detail. I just drew it out as 16, but that seems like too much. What if we go to 12? Like maybe 12 is the way to go. Also playing with 2 hole saws here. So I want like a big hole in the middle here, and then we'll have 2 smaller holes here. And then there's definitely enough room to like make that detail nice. And then at the top of 12 inches, that's when we go into our gothic detailing. Yeah, that's not bad. 6 feet, like magic. I don't know, I just like rounded numbers, you know? Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Full width is 28. The full height is 76. 76 inches. Okay, she's big, but she's cool. Once all the planning was in place, I got cutting. To build this, I was using 3/4 inch plywood leftovers from my previous cabinet build. You know what they say, waste not, my friends. I first mapped out the general size, the edges, then using my large compass, I mapped out my arch on the top. If you are someone who finds themselves cutting a lot of arches and you do not own a woodworking compass, it is a great investment. And if you ever see me using something on screen, all these items are always linked to my shop page if you're looking. This is the shiz. All I'm gonna say. Now we cut it out. Cut it out. because we're cutting it out.
I don't know. I'm like an old age dad. Kindred spirits of an old age father.
Oh no, have I become my father? Now, before I cut my arch, I also wanted to map out the more decorative Gothic details inside the arch. So I created a template using some scrap 1/4" MDF. All I had to do was make one, and then I could just cut it out and mirror it on the other side. Not gonna lie, this took a bit of time. I just can't make any decisions. So once I drew the template in, that's kind of when I realized I didn't like the way it looked. Something about the sizing of the pointed details was just off. So I redrew it and I tried again. Buy erasers. Buy pencil sharpener. Well, by golly, I think that was the one. Woohoo! Slap the table. Good project. This is gonna be cool. I can feel it in my bones. Felt like we were finally starting to get somewhere in our day, and my first real cut was to remove the inside panel to make an actual mirror frame. And I did this with my plunge saw to ensure that the cut would be super straight. Then around the arch details, I went in with my jiggly saw. I wasn't happy with the rounded details, so I did end up tweaking the design ever so slightly, but I think it turned out all right. I think once we get all the embellishments, this will become, and it's sanded of course, it'll become less noticeable. This is the way. This is the way. Well, hot dog, let's go make some rounded corners. Why do we say hot dog? It doesn't make any sense. Well, taco, let's go make some corners. Well, hamburger, we're going in. Okay, anywho. My next step was using my router with a round off bit to soften the front edge. Just a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. After that, I got sanding, then traced my mirror template onto a second sheet of ply and cut this out because my plan was to make the mirror frame double thick so it looked like a nice full frame from the outside and the edges, but this second piece would only be a rim around the edges so that I had a 3/4 inch depth to play with on the inside for the mirror and any braces that I wanted to add in later. After the inside frame was done, before I attached it, I first routed the back inside edge of my mirror with a 1/4 inch rabbet bit to allow the mirror to sit down closer to the front edge. If I don't do this, we have like this ugly 3/4 inch spacing between the front of the mirror and the mirror itself, and it would just look silly. Stupid and silly, you know? While I had my router out, I also removed a bunch of material at the top because I didn't want to cut my mirror to accommodate the arch shapes. It was far simpler just to remove this material on the frame instead. I then attached my outside frame, and like that, this mirror was really starting to take shape. It was feeling so magical already. I'm so excited. Not too shabby. I like the way this is going, but we need to figure out where our holes are gonna go now. I had a 6" and a 4" hole saw in front of me, but I needed to nail down where the holes would go, and it was hard to see, so sometimes you just gotta hop on top to get a visual. Trust me, it was a whole thing. Oh my god, I am my dad. Rightio, let's cut a hole. That's also when I realized I couldn't route the edges like I wanted to because the back frame was on, so I had to remove that to route the edges. So glad I put wood glue on that. I then reattached my frame again, and as a final step to the day, I used DAP's premium wood filler to fill any holes in the plywood edges. My friends, I was so excited for this day, and I knew I was gonna need a lot of energy and brain power to get through it, which is why I am so happy and thankful for the sponsor of today's episode, AG1. Because without this in my life, my daily routine, I literally feel like a different person throughout the day. Like 3 p.m. afternoon crashes, it is real. And you know what that crash feels like. You know. I don't get it anymore. I have no crashes. I have said it a million times. I am a huge fan of AG1, and I get asked all the time, is it really as good as they say it is? And my answer is always an astounding yes. It's genuinely the best daily routine that I have ever given myself. 1 scoop of AG1 per day supports energy, digestive regularity, immune defense, and a healthy mood, so I'll be ready to take on whatever the day and this year has in store for me. And trust me, you drink this every day, you will feel so much more energized. Your gut is going to feel so much more regulated. You will feel less bloated, and those afternoon 3 p.m. tiredness, gone. I feel so good throughout the whole day, and it just makes me feel good to feel good. AG1 is one of the easiest things you can do for your health. It comes with a 30-day supply straight to your door every month, so you won't run out or you won't forget. My friends, there is no right time for better health. There's just now, so please use my link in the description box or scan the QR code on screen to subscribe and save $20 off your first subscription to AG1. And here's the fun little pun for you. If you mirror your efforts, you'll achieve miracles. No. I just can't help myself. Actually, I'm so thirsty, so I'd like to drink this now before I forget. No magic here, just AG1. Okay, back to the DIY. Okay. So this is where I'm thinking of putting it. I might actually mount it on the wall, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just trying to decide like kind of what elements I'd like to add to it to like make it really pop. Like the stained glass pieces I feel like are really gonna make this like a thing. But I was thinking like maybe something that went around the rim might be nice, and then maybe some extra bits on the sides. I don't know, but I think we can play. So I'm gonna get this up on the table, and then we're gonna play with some design ideas. Okay. Okay, so I have all of this flexible trim. I love this stuff. I used it when I was creating kind of some of the details for the Gothic cathedral look in my library area. I thought that would be fun. So yeah, I wanted to use this again. I hope I bought enough. How much did I buy? Can't remember. Doesn't change anything other than the fact that I either have enough or I don't. To move myself along here, I ended up playing with a lot of different materials I already had lying around the studio. We had the flexible trim, I had some wood half circles, or what do we call these, bobbins, some corbels, I had some wood carved decorative details. I knew I would have to play around a bit, but I did end up going to the hardware store to pick up some of this decorative leaf trim and these corner squares. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of giving me like Rivendell or Lothlorien vibes, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. So I think what I'm gonna do, get my saw, get my brad nailer, and we're just gonna start putting this thing together like a puzzle. I'm really excited. All right, let's go use our imagination. When it came to mapping out the look, honestly, I kind of just followed my gut and did whatever my creativity told me to do. I was attempting to balance a less is more, but I certainly had fun, and that's all I want at the end of the day, just to have fun with these projects. Don't forget to play, overanalyze projects, overthink them, talk it to the ground, because this is the part that's so fun, and enjoy the process. That is what DIY is. It's about having fun. We're using our imagination, so don't forget to play. How many times can I say it? Okay, I like this direction. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. I think it's fun. I was a little worried that this might feel slightly too feminine, but I don't know if it's gonna read that way once we get this painted up. I really like this detail though. It's feeling very Lord of the Rings to me, and I'm kind of not mad about that. So we're gonna go with it.
sometimes happy accidents. But I went back and forth about the base, you know, whether or not to add something to it, but I think less is more in this situation. I think I'm gonna leave it blank, and I think we should just move on, start cleaning this up. We gotta prime it, and then we get to paint it. Very cool. It's kind of fun. I feel like I'm going into the portal. Speak, friend, and enter.
So the color I chose was probably given away by my thumbnail, but either way, the color was called Black Sapphire by Behr. It's like this perfect dark purple, and I'm obsessed. Purple is actually one of my favorite colors, and I was sad that there wasn't something big and purple in my studio, so I was kind of thinking, this is my chance. I was really looking forward to this day. So over the holidays, I had gone to a stained glass shop and bought a whole bunch of cool glass, new glass to use. I bought a new soldering iron, and after that, my life kind of got turned a little upside down, and then I never touched it again until this moment. So I was really excited to get back into this practice because I really, really love it. For my glass designs, I found two patterns off Etsy. The first was this beautiful celestial moon design from the company Mayberry Glass Design. And then for the smaller circles on the two sides, I'm using this cosmic design that I purchased from a company called Lucky Cat Glassworks. Now in preparation, I had already sized and printed these designs out on my Cricut in permanent vinyl. For the large centerpiece, I was using this beautiful piece of hand-rolled or mixed glass, which I believe is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Genny stipple glass. I could be pronouncing that wrong. I hope not, but it just felt so cosmic and perfect for this project. I also had some smaller pieces of pink and these beautiful bluey purple pieces. My first task was to get all the pieces cut, which is a super time-consuming but also very satisfying process. Oh my gosh, I love the sound of glass being cut. It's very meditative, and this is so weird, but every time I hear it, I have this weird childhood memory recall of watching Jurassic Park 2 when Julianne Moore falls on the glass. You know, when she's on the trailer that's hanging off of the cliff, and she's like trying to like slowly move across the glass that's breaking as she's moving, and you can just hear those little cracks in the glass. It's so weird, and it's such a thing, but every time I'm cutting glass, I think of that movie and that moment in the movie. Does anyone else get that? Does like, I know like smells can also do that. Does anyone have like weird memory recalls for certain things in their life? Comment down below, because I know I'm not alone and I'd love to know what yours is.
Let's get back to work.
Okay, good morning, friends. Okay, so we have a giant mirror here, and this is what's gonna go into the frame, but I really wanted to add a little stained glass element to the bottom. So I've already gone and prepped a couple pieces. I have this blue piece. I have this cosmic blue piece. I have this piece that I've already kind of stained glass together. Bring it back again. And then on the other side is a matching blue and a matching blue. I'm very scared. I've never actually adhered glass to mirror before. Heck, I'm still learning how to adhere glass to glass. But I did learn one trick, that you need to prep the mirror so that the mirror doesn't get mirror rot. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's a thing. So to avoid mirror rot, you can use clear nail polish and just add clear nail polish all along the edge that you're going to be foiling. Put the clear nail polish on, let that dry, then foil the bottom, and then you're basically ready to stain glass the pieces to the mirror. Okay. Is it fitting? Does that fit? It fit! Oh my gosh. And this looks good. Oh, you know what I just noticed? So the back side that I didn't paint purple, you can see it. Okay, whoa, I just caught a big blunder. Okay, we need to remove this out and I need to paint the inside lip. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I would have been so mad at myself. Oh boy, do I hope that this piece really reflects my creativity. All right, are you guys ready to see the final piece? Editor, roll the beauties. I set out to make a celestial fantasy inspired mirror, and I think that is exactly what we got. This mirror feels so cool, like it's a portal into another world, and I just love it in this studio space. I actually ended up adding LED lights behind it too to only add to the magic, and I think that touch just made it feel even more elevated. It just feels so magical, so whimsical, and you know what? That's the kind of world that I want to live in. How about you? All right, let's try this one more time, shall we? Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Ah, yes, still Han Solo. Vigo, you can stay too.
I give up. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you a fan of my celestial inspired mirror? Can you feel the magic? Of course, big shout out to my Patreon crew. Where would I be without all of you? A special shout out to Brandy, my stained glass guru, for all your advice and guidance as always. And thank you everyone for rooting me on behind the scenes. It means the world. I am back next week for another Studio Made, so make sure you are subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you all then. As always, my friends, stay positive, stay creative, and keep on DIYing. Bye-bye.